I guess they see the crazy side of Coach Cochran. But again, Coach Cochran's a really good guy, and I think the outside world sees the crazy part of him, but I think us being in here see another side of him at the same time.
So, what's it like to work with and deal with Scott Cochran? Scott Cochran, you remember Scott Cochran from Alabama? He's now a special teams coach at Georgia. Definitely different. And when you're dealing with personalities like special teams kids, punters, kickers, snappers, that's a little different than a traditional football player. That's for sure. And Jake Camarda gave us some insight tonight on what it was like or what it is like to deal with Scott Cochran. And, Cochran over time, you knew from the beginning, you heard whispers in 2016 or late 2015, early 16, that he was on the way to Georgia. But what was stopping him was the retirement system in Alabama. I don't know what about that is true and what isn't, but it sounds like he wasn't so far from being vested. And he was not an on-field coach, and that's something to consider as well. I mean, all these coaches have egos. All these coaches have what they feel like they can do better and best. But a strength and conditioning guy who was considered one of the best in the business wanted to make the move to on the field so he could recruit more, he could develop players, stuff like that. Maybe he just wanted a change of scenery, and that change of scenery was with his old buddy Kirby Smart, who he coached with for, not 10 years, but pretty close. So now he's at Georgia. What is Scott Cochran bringing to the table here? Are we going to see the special teams perform better? Are we? They were pretty good last year. You start thinking about, you don't get Dominique Blaylock this year, so that's difficult. That's not ideal. But the kicking game, the punting, Georgia was pretty good at those things. How can Scott Cochran make them better? Are there more availabilities to make bigger plays in the return game? That's all now something that Scott Cochran is going to have to deal with, transitioning from being a strength guy. Strength and conditioning is about accountability, doing things exactly the right way every single time. Coaching's that way too. It's the same. It's the same basic principle. The only thing I wonder, this is just me, is you're going from being, the caveman coach, the strength and conditioning coach, that many people view it that way. It's probably an unfair way of looking at it. But those are the tough guys in the program, the strength and conditioning guys. These guys got barrel chests. They're about it. Now you're dealing with kickers who are not the biggest people at all. They're the smallest people on the team, and they're the ones that, more than anything, this is about what's going on between their ears than what they're doing physically. It's repetition. It's how do you feel. It's all that stuff. For a long time, Georgia had Kevin Butler as a graduate assistant that helped him. You can't tell me that didn't matter in Rodrigo's development over time, because it did to me, for sure. You have one of the best college kickers ever as a grad assistant. So that's something to watch for sure. But what is Scott Cochran going to do? Does he have expertise in the kicking game? Is he going to rely on other folks for that? You heard from Jake Camarda about Scott Cochran, and we're just going to see how this goes. We'll see if it will get better for the Dogs or not. Dean Legge from Dog Post, making you a smarter Georgia fan. Make sure to click this playlist right here about the 2020 season we've got coming up. Got a lot of information in there for you, and we're right around the corner from the start of the college football season.